The third season of Jurassic World's animated show Chaos Theory is right around the corner. It arrives on Netflix on April 3rd, and as we approach those all-new episodes that are full of Jurassic dinosaur action, here's a look back at the numerous references and Easter eggs found in seasons 1 and 2. In the very first episode, Aftershock, the radio dialogue that we hear quotes,
"Dinosaurs had their shot."
A quote Dr. Ian Malcolm himself made back in '93.
Dinosaurs had their shot, and nature selected them for extinction.
Tiger and Panthera from Jurassic World Dominion appear here, the first of many scenes featuring these vicious raptors. In Jurassic World Dominion, before visiting the Biosyn headquarters, Alan and Ellie visit a location run by the Department of Prehistoric Wildlife. That very same department is present in the world of Chaos Theory, and Darius even worked for them.
Ronnie?
Darius.
They use Dino Tracker to track, locate, and report dinosaur sightings globally, just like the viral marketing campaign created for Jurassic World Dominion. Darius appears to be living his own Owen Grady life here, a cabin in the woods. Inside his cabin, we can see his weaponry laid out like a true dinosaur hunter, a stun rod, and what appears to be a net blaster. More on that later. While putting away groceries, he takes out a box of cereal, Frosted Lizard Crunch. Not an Easter egg to anything per se, but Taste the Dino and the design of the box show us what could likely happen to food and merchandising in a world where dinosaurs are now roaming on the mainland. As the Nublar 6 reminisce in news footage, Darius says,
We survived because we had each other.
And the main musical theme from Camp Cretaceous swells as we get a true sense of what's about to come. During the Atrociraptor attack scene at Darius's cabin, one of the raptors launches itself through the glass, just like the one pursuing Malcolm in The Lost World. The silhouette scene before the raptor jumps is a classic one. We've seen this familiar silhouette many times before. The stun rod shock and the head through the wooden shelf in the attack scene reminds us of the scene in Malta in Jurassic World Dominion, with Claire wielding a taser and the Atrociraptor bursting through the wooden door. Episode 2, Rest Stop, brings the third Atrociraptor ghost to the show, looking extra bloodthirsty, tapping their claws like the iconic claw tap in Jurassic Park. The Atrociraptors are living up to that raptor behavior that we all love in this season, giving us another reference to The Lost World when it breaks through the glass in the pickup truck. Ben and Darius are sat there, pretty concerned, and pressed against the car door, just like Malcolm.
But that doesn't make any sense. I don't think there were any released from the Lockwood estate. See? Even more proof.
When trying to figure out where the Atrociraptors may have come from, Darius drops mention to the Lockwood estate, the site of the dinosaur chaos in Fallen Kingdom's finale. When Darius discovers the back of Ben's van, he says,
Like stepping inside your old dork pouch.
a reference to the dork pouch, the fanny pack, or if you're from the UK, bum bag that Ben carried with him in Camp Cretaceous. We see references to
Manticore's secret underwater laboratory? Carnivorous locusts?
on various sticky notes scattered around the van. When Darius reveals Ben's investigation board, it reminds us a little bit of the description given to Richard Levine's office/apartment in the Lost World novel. Darius holds up a sticky note that says "Big shaving cream behind it all," referencing Barbasol. In one of the many Brooklyn-related flashbacks, Ben and Brooklyn stand on a rooftop and spot pteranodons flying ahead. The two discuss conspiracies on the Dark Jurassic Forum, including one that gives mention to Dr. Wu and human cloning.
What if the Nublar 6 actually died on the island and Dr. Wu cloned and replaced them?
Or did that actually happen? Anyway, the music playing on Ben's van's radio at the gas station will take you back to Dennis Nedry's meeting with Louis Dodson in San Jose. It's not the same tune, but this song can be played in the vehicles in Jurassic World Evolution. After Ben and Darius save the trapped Nasuto at the gas station, the now free herbivore reunites with its family. Could this be the same family seen in Battle at Big Rock? Are they on a road trip too?
I ain't never been that scared in my life.
In episode 3, we arrive at Sammy's farm in rural Texas, and Ben is reunited with Bumpy, his Ankylosaurus friend born at Jurassic World. Sammy's ranch is similar in its fauna and landscape to the one that we saw in Jurassic World Dominion that had been plagued by locusts. Their reunion doesn't last long, however. The Atrociraptors descend on the farm. When flicking the power, Sammy's power box reminds us of the power unit in the bunker at Jurassic Park.
That makes no sense.
The raptor peering through the glass fogs it up just like the raptor in the first movie. This shot showing the Atrociraptor howling at the moon brings a return to the gothic look of Fallen Kingdom. We also get to see the slithering tongue of this dinosaur. Ben manages to trap one of the dinosaurs behind a metal gate of a livestock pen, putting the raptor in a position similar to the raptors in Jurassic World.
Easy, Blue.
We get more raptor silhouettes, and the Atrociraptor knocks items off the kitchen counter like the kitchen scene in Jurassic Park. And Sammy struggling with the Atrociraptor behind the door reminds us of Ellie in the bunker. When Ben says to Bumpy,
Take care of yourself, girl.
it reminds us of the relationship that Owen has with Blue and the connection that the two share. When Sammy unveils the map that she found in Brooklyn's jacket, we see a note that says, Cool Dino Nerd, Brooklyn's nickname for Darius in Camp Cretaceous. This map also brings the return of the ambiguous lettering and language seen on documents, screens, and other places throughout Camp Cretaceous. At the end of this episode, we get an insight into these Atrociraptors' origins before we see them in Jurassic World Dominion. In that movie, Soyona Santos used a laser to mark the target. This dog whistle and creepy robot-like raptor lady are new and indeed very unsettling. Chaos Theory does a wonderful job at showing the concept dinosaurs in our world. Episode 4, Brothers, provides a sequence showing dinosaurs being transported by the DPG, and we see cars pulled to the side of the road with their drivers snapping pictures as the dinosaurs pass by. We see many dinosaurs in these trucks: Stegosaurus, Baryonyx, Pachyrhinosaurus, Gallimimus, and of course, a menacing Allosaurus. The flashbacks that Darius has to the night of Brooklyn's incident is reminding me of the flashbacks in Signs. Probably not an intentional reference. And what's this? We have bioluminescent parasaurs, first introduced in Camp Cretaceous and now here on the mainland for the very first time.
I knew his dad lost all their money when he went to prison.
When we sent him to prison.
Kenji's dad, confirmed to be in prison, locked away for his Manticore crimes. Kenji is back. You likely wouldn't notice, but Kenji is now voiced by Daniel Barnett, who did a great job filling the role of an older Kenji. Inside his living quarters, he has a framed photograph of himself with Darius and his family. At the very end of Camp Cretaceous, we saw Kenji living with Darius as part of the family, but things have changed drastically for the New Blast 6 since then. The parasaurs are crossing the road here, sort of like a herd of deer. A pretty cool sight to see for a new world. So Kenji is a rock climber, and we get to see Darius join him on one of his big climbs. This harkens back to some very early concept art for Camp Cretaceous depicting rock climbing as an activity at Jurassic World. Pretty cool to see this concept come to life in the sequel series. In Kenji's flashback, we see bioluminescent parasaurs illuminate as the sun sets, another beautiful sight, this time overshadowed by Brooklyn's partiality to her cell phone over the real world and her then boyfriend Kenji.
Brooklyn.
Uh-huh.
Episode 5 opens with a compy on a desert road. I really love this shot, especially as this sandwich appears to be roast beef.
Are you hungry? Take a bite. It's roast beef. It's good.
A staple of the compy diet, these two compies battle it out before the roast beef sandwich winner is taken away by a pteranodon. We see a billboard for King Dino's prehistoric playland, reminding us of the kind of gag we would have seen in early Simpsons.
Well, it's been 2 hours. How do you feel?
I don't know. I kind of want a cigarette.
That's a good start. Let's get you a pack.
This is just yet another example of how people in the real world would take advantage of these wild prehistoric dinosaurs.
So help me if you try to serve me one more carob anything.
Some habits never change.
Someone stole your candy bars and put dirt in them.
They're carob bars. They pair perfectly with
Carob juice. Awesome.
At King Dino's, now featuring real Stiggies, we see a smashed Jurassic World gyrosphere. Sammy says,
I wonder if it pulls to the right.
which is a reference to the broken gyrosphere on the island. Seeing one of these vehicles here almost proudly displayed shows how the world has accepted the disaster of Jurassic World. It's just part of popular culture now. When we get to meet King Dino, well, Bobby Nublar, he reminds us of Ross Hanneman from Silicon Valley.
Right? Right? Read it. Get it? Now say it.
He's got a dinosaur belt buckle, a leather vest, and all of this combined with his animal exploiting attraction makes him somewhat of a Tiger King of the Jurassic World.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
Behind Bobby Nublar, we see a When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth banner, just like the one at Jurassic Park all the way back in 1993. As mentioned, these dinosaurs are also Stygimolochs, dinosaurs first seen in Fallen Kingdom that have escaped from Lockwood Manor. We see an aged Daniel Conn here, last seen leaving Manticore Island. He tries to con his son again, just like he did in Camp Cretaceous. And the Styggies escape. Fallen Kingdom vibes are plenty here, the Styggies causing chaos, the gyrosphere rolling. Bobby Nublar also appears to own a Mercedes G-Wagon, the Jurassic World staff vehicle of choice. Sammy scaring Ben with her handprint on the glass here is, well, yep. Bobby Nublar makes a phone call reporting the problem. So just how connected is this guy? Daniel Conn dies at the fate of the Atrociraptors. His death is reminiscent of Udesky's unfortunate death in Jurassic Park 3. And here she is, Soyona Santos. No, just kidding, this isn't the handler that we saw in Jurassic World Dominion, but a new one. But who is this unsettling robotic lady? What can her large blue eyes and her whistle tell us? This shot reminds us of one of the IDW Jurassic Park comics. In the 6th episode, Freefall, we are reintroduced to Yasmina. The trauma she suffered on the islands is still haunting her, and we see violent flashbacks depicting dinosaur terror. We also get a flashback to her with Brooklyn, 14 months prior to the story of Chaos Theory. This font should also be familiar. Yasmina is using dino immersion therapy, a form of therapy adapted for the negative effects of dinosaur encounters. In the present day, we meet Yaz, and the gazebo that she stands under is almost exactly like the one at the Honolulu Zoo, a location on Oahu used as the location of the petting zoo in Jurassic World. This therapy island is sort of like a reverse Jurassic Park. Fences are used to keep the dinosaurs out. Despite Sammy's concerns, this place does feel like a good way to help people integrate to a world that is now populated with dinosaurs, a new world.
After that incident at Big Rock, it was pretty clear that there was a market for it.
A reference here to the Jurassic World short film.
We even have a radar system to detect and deter any reptiles of the flying variety.
Great to see the flying reptiles not being called dinosaurs. This whole security system here on the island is reminiscent of the aerial deterrent system mentioned at Biosyn in Dominion. They even use West Indian lilac as a dino deterrent.
Is this West Indian lilac?
Yaz uses holographic dinosaurs here. We first saw holographic dinosaurs at the Jurassic World Park.
You really think a fence and a few flowers are going to keep us safe from this kind of danger?
This quote and its delivery is similar to one from The Lost World.
5 years of work and 100 miles of electrified fence couldn't prepare the other island. Did you think that, what, a couple dozen Marlboro men would make a difference here?
And we have the Beckel Spinax, a brand new dinosaur to the Jurassic franchise, gets his first ever on-screen debut. What do you think of this species? Yaz programs in the holographic T-Rex to face the Beckel, grey distracted blue with the Dilophosaurus hologram near the end of Jurassic World. The holographic T-Rex was also utilized in Season 2 of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. What an unlucky bastard! Not just one, but two Beckel Spinaxes. Reminds us of the Scorpius Rex double reveal in Season 3 of Camp Cretaceous. The trio wake up in Ben's van, underwater. It gives off Claire and Franklin in the gyro vibes. They make it out of the water, much like Zack and Gray do in Jurassic World.
Any chance that phone's got a map? What? Do you see him?
Once inside Brooklyn's secret pad, Darius logs onto the computer and pulls up dinotracker.com, the viral marketing site launched for Dominion by fans, for the fans. He then flicks to Dark Jurassic, the in-universe Reddit-style website for people to discuss the dinosaur outbreaks, the conspiracies, and more.
I thought the world was ready to keep dinosaurs safe, but instead they're just being exploited for profit again, just like Hammond and Masrani, Daniel.
Darius? Hammond, Masrani, and now Daniel Kahn. Name drops. The legacy of wealthy folks making money off of dinosaurs continues. And it would appear, based on the moolah that they find in her closet, Brooklyn herself was involved in some sort of dinosaur trafficking with Kenji's dad. Inside the DPG transport vehicle, we get an overhead shot just like Oscar Forrest shot in Fallen Kingdom. All of the dinosaurs are being kept here, the Brachiosaurus, the Parasaurs, the Stegos, all contained, once again, behind fences. A Baryonyx is transported. This species was first introduced in Fallen Kingdom and later appeared many times in Camp Cretaceous. And Darius and Kenji explore their inner Owen Grady here. Yaz tries to create a dinosaur stampede.
That usually works. This thing's not going fast enough.
Tango, 12 o'clock! Tail, tail, tail!
Hang on!
Into the Fog, episode 9, Kenji says,
"Is that Big Edie?"
Referencing, of course, the big ET T-Rex seen on Manticore Island. It's the Pachyrhinosaurus strapped down on a trailer. This entire sequence here is quite reminiscent again of Fallen Kingdom. The dinosaurs, the cages, the mercenaries.
Malaysia, the Netherlands, Saudi Arabia, Malta.
We get a reference to Malta here. Dominion showed us the underground dinosaur black market that's located there. Did this episode upset you too? Bumpy's passing was a tough one to get through. Luckily, it was just Bumpy. Pumpkin Ben, she was pregnant and gives birth to a single egg. Who is the lucky father? Or could this be parthenogenesis? The final episode of season 1, we get a green Carnotaurus. Now, I would argue that this creepy robot lady stood here with her blue eyes and short hair is Chaos Theory giving us, the audience, another go at a human alpha with their raptor pack. But honestly, who is this person? Why does she appear and behave this way? And why are her eyes so blue? We've got raptors in the walkway, reminding us of the raptor hunting sequence in The Lost World. This whole scene with the truck crashing into the building plays out like the San Diego scene in The Lost World. Now we think this one might have been for Jurassic Souls. The Suchomimus makes its franchise debut in animated form. Some of the Dimorphodons first seen at the Jurassic World Park can be seen here too. We get a slow motion T-Rex explosion here. No egg.
George Michael, I'm sure that Egg is a very nice person.
But an epic, somewhat cliche shot for sure. This hilarious hero shot does, however, lead to a callback to one of the most iconic scenes in the franchise. The very climax of Jurassic Park plays out, T-Rex versus raptors. The whole fight plays out almost exactly the same way. The second raptor seeing his buddy hurt, choosing the Rex over the humans. Darius lets the Allosaurus out and runs in slow motion with his stun prod, just like Claire with the flare at the climax of Jurassic World. Running with the light, of course, reminds us of the iconic scene in Jurassic Park. He even tosses it like Malcolm does. Now, of course, this wouldn't be a Jurassic World project without the T-Rex saving the day. It's cliche, but hey, it happens again. And of course, it did happen at the end of the very first movie.
The boat's heading to some broker.
Dinosaurs being transported via ship, reminiscent of both the SS Venture and the Arcadia.
Getting on that boat would be a very Brooklyn thing to do.
So it looks like the gang are in for another adventure.
Well, I'm out.
Jeez!
So that what? Hold on. Brooklyn is alive. The Allosaurus might have taken her hand and forearm, but this isn't the last we will be seeing of her. The voice actor for Brooklyn was also recast. Let's welcome Kirsten Kelly to the role, a musician and actress who we'll be hearing much more of in the second season. Kirsten was born without her right forearm, making her the perfect talent to fill and relate to this role. And that is all of the eggs that we caught in season 1 of Jurassic World Chaos Theory. In the very first episode, Batten Down the Hatches, the Nublar 5 are hiding in a crate aboard the cargo ship, and above them we see a Baryonyx. We think this might be the same Baryonyx first seen in Camp Cretaceous on Isla Nublar. It has the same blue eye markings that the Baryonyx Chaos had, but of course this might not be the same one, could just be one of the many other dinosaurs. While Darius has always been the one to identify dinosaurs based on the sounds they make, we get a nice moment where all of the campers are guessing the dinosaur based on the sound, showing their combined knowledge of dinosaurs and dinosaur behavior.
Baryonyx! How? What? How?
Inside this container, the group are camping out, reminding us of Eric Kirby in Jurassic Park 3, especially with those lamps. Kenji makes a reference to the group's living quarters at Camp Cretaceous.
You know, this place kind of reminds me of our sweet pad at Camp C. Shame there's no slide, though.
While Kenji is sneaking around the ship to gather supplies for the group, we learn that the ship departed from a port in Louisiana, meaning we now have a location for the sequence at the end of season 1. We also learn that they've been aboard the ship for at least over a week. We also see this scene from season 1 playing out via a news report on the TV, and a quick headline about the dinosaurs being released from a commercial farm, possibly in reference to Claire's activities in the opening of Dominion.
Everybody good?
No!
Kenji states,
Mateo did it! He got the DPW's whole dino trade totally shut down.
confirming that Mateo fulfilled his goal from the end of season 1.
Well, I'm out.
Jeez!
Kenji opens a container and we find a number of dinosaur eggs, one belonging to Bumpy, who gave birth at the end of the last season. The Suchomimus is seen here, but it doesn't attack them, rather it seems pretty scared and remains inside its container. This species was first mentioned in the 3rd Jurassic Park movie,
Suchomimus Snow,
and was seen on the Jurassic World viral tie-in website for the DPG. It was a species at the Jurassic World Park, although never seen on screen, and unfortunately was cut from making an appearance in Dominion. The dinosaur's first real on-screen appearance was in Chaos Theory. As you will have seen in the very first episode, we meet a number of dinosaur species aboard the ship, including the Gallimimus, a staple dinosaur in the franchise, first seen in Jurassic Park and featured at the Jurassic World Park as well. This dinosaur has been featured in every Jurassic Park movie. We then meet the big bad new dinosaur this season, the Majungasaurus, first discovered in Madagascar and a real-life cannibal. It preyed on other Majungasaurs and carnivores, a great real-world paleo nod. The boat captain says,
"It's just the power coming back on."
Just like Gennaro does in Jurassic Park.
Maybe it's the power trying to come back on.
The boat captain even looks like our very own Jaden. Darius uses an app on his phone to play dinosaur sounds which help lure the dinosaur out. This is reminiscent of the Velociraptor resonating chamber in the 3rd Jurassic Park movie. The lifeboat that the group escaped the cargo ship on, we can't help but be reminded of that deadly Ocean Gate sub. Ben watches the Dinosaur Liberation Now's video and spots Brooklyn in the background, her first appearance this season. The person in the raptor head mask will certainly remind some fans of an early concept for Jurassic Park 4, which never made it to production, but featured dinosaur-human hybrids. There was even concept art made by Carlos Huante to visually showcase this idea. Pretty spooky. Episode 2 is titled The Marooned Five, which is a reference to something many of you will understand. We are introduced to new character Zaina here in Senegal, approaching a herd of stegosaurs. This scene reminds us of the Stegosaurus introduction in The Lost World. There's even sun beaming through the plates. Another Gallimimus now, but this one, named Geba, features an all-new color scheme. It's also named after the Geba River that passes through southern Senegal. Yaz says,
It doesn't look like the uninhabited island of a deranged billionaire, so that's something.
Darius states,
I didn't think other continents had wild dinos.
Establishing that much of the population is under the assumption that dinosaurs are localized to the United States. The group moving dinosaurs using plants is something they've done since Camp Cretaceous.
That's it?
Ben finds himself inside these very large tree roots while searching for a signal to look at Dark Jurassic. I wonder if he'll find any eggs. The two riding these herbivores reminds us of Ben riding Bumpy in Camp Cretaceous. The 3rd episode's title spells out Clever Girl, which is a nod to the iconic phrase uttered by Muldoon right before the Velociraptor. Well, you know the rest.
Clever girl.
We think Brooklyn's t-shirt Silent Dreams might be a reference to something, but either way, it is a bit of a nod to the nightmares that she's having. Brooklyn says she leaves her jacket on purpose because it holds her deepest, darkest secrets. In the first season, when looking through her jacket, Darius and Sammy find the all-important map. Brooklyn's necklace has some sort of dinosaur on it. What dinosaur do you think this is supposed to be? The motorcycle she uses is reminding us of Owen Grady's from Jurassic World. In this episode, we get a flashback from Brooklyn's perspective of a scene you will be familiar with from season 1. We see the events leading up to Kenji and Brooklyn's breakup, and we then see what happened afterwards. Brooklyn heads to her secret apartment, something also revealed to us in the first season, and we see the duffel bag that Daniel Kahn, Kenji's father, dropped off. The duffel bag full of money. This gives us much more context for these scenes and a whole new perspective of the event.
I'm heading to NorCal, and I have cash. Put the word out that you know a new buyer.
We also are treated to Brooklyn's perspective of the night of the Allosaurus attack, which shows her making the now infamous video message to Darius. It's at this very moment that she receives a voicemail via Doc Jurassic, which tells her,
"My account was hacked. Whoever told you about the dino drop wasn't me."
Meaning that Brooklyn had been set up. It's at this moment that the iconic Allosaurus approaches her, but while running, we hear the very distinctive whistle from that of the handler. In a twist that many weren't expecting, Brooklyn is approached by the pack of Atrociraptors, which surround her, and we see the handler approach. We last saw this robot raptor lady in the very first season. She instructs the raptors to attack Brooklyn, but the Allosaurus wants a piece of the action, leading to a fight reminiscent of the T-Rex versus raptors in the first Jurassic Park. And in quite the twist, we learn that it wasn't the Allosaurus that took Brooklyn's arm, but instead one of the Atrociraptors. We see this compy, first introduced in The Lost World, wearing a cone, injured inside a cage. This dinosaur, almost now resembling a pet, is being cared for by Brooklyn and Ronnie, and the whole compy in a cage is very reminiscent of the Dino Tracker video from Dominion's marketing. DPW agent Ronnie is CleverGirl86 on the Dark Jurassic website and has been helping and caring for Brooklyn while in hiding. You will recognize this DPW double agent as the guy who went against Cabrera in the first season, leading to the handler killing Cabrera with her pack of raptors.
Did you hear me? I said...
You really think you're the one who's been calling the shots this whole time?
We learn that this guy has been working for the handler and likely the broker for quite some time. Here he is seen sneaking into Ronnie's cabin to look for evidence. In the fourth episode, The Adjustment, we open at this dinosaur holding location, which reminds us of the first time we see Claire in Dominion, and we notice a number of iconic herbivore species here: a Pachyrhinosaurus, an Asutoceratops, a Parasaurolophus, and a Stygimoloch. We then see many of these dinosaurs being let out of their cages under the cover of darkness, just like in the Lost World Jurassic Park. We see members of the Dinosaur Liberation Now group sporting these Velociraptor head masks, noticing one that looks very reminiscent of Blue, the Velociraptor, first seen in Jurassic World. These head masks can also be found in real life, made by Mattel. We learn more about Brooklyn's story here. She's working for this group, but undercover, going by the name of Sydney. Brooklyn, or Sydney, discovers that the raid they just did took place near an airport, leading to her and Ronnie discovering that all of the raids by the DLN were locations close in proximity to airports. When they pull up the flight data, we see a handful of locations: the Bahamas, China, Georgia, Canada, the Ivory Coast, and Malta. Ben's username on Dark Jurassic is Bumpy2015, a nice little nod to his favorite dino pal. And 2015 was the year that Jurassic World was released. When Ben is checking for supplies on the Titan sub, we see Pac-Man on the water bottles. Not a Jurassic nod, but come on, Pac-Man's pretty fun. In episode 5, Troubled Waters, Ben says to Kenji,
"You remember the gyrosphere on Nublar? I will not have that happen again.
Let me show you how it's...
He then receives a scam message through Dark Jurassic. I mean, I get these kind of emails too. When Brooklyn begins exploring the broker's penthouse suite, we notice a few objects on the shelf. One specifically stands out: the Velociraptor resonating chamber from Jurassic Park 3. And of course, the opening of Camp Cretaceous.
Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There it is!
And the identity of the broker is finally unveiled to us. It's Soyona Santos from Jurassic World Dominion.
I do have another job for you. Short hot money's double.
A fantastic inclusion in the animated show.
Shupcha Melehena.
An iconic Jurassic Park dinosaur has made it to Western Africa, the Brachiosaurus. Kenji also vocalizes to it, something the group of ex-campers did while at Camp Cretaceous. We learn more about the broker here, about Soyona Santos' backstory, something writer of the show Scott Creamer told us Colin Trevorrow was also very heavily involved in creating. The actress who played Soyona in Dominion has also returned to the franchise to voice her animated form. Welcome back, Deechan Lackman. Soyona states,
"My business takes me all over."
And when asked about her business, she says,
"Call it paleontology."
She reveals that her mother was part of the dig that discovered the fighting dinosaurs in Mongolia. This is a real-world reference. A velociraptor and a protoceratops fought to the death and were fossilized as such. Scientists believe that an avalanche of sand swept over these two enemies, preserving them in the heat of the battle. They were unearthed in 1971 and are considered a national treasure of Mongolia. There are a lot of real-world paleo connections and references in this season. And shortly after she reveals this, we see a raptor claw tapping on the ground, just like in the kitchen scene from Jurassic Park. The tapping raptor is revealed to be Red, the Atrociraptor, first seen in Jurassic World Dominion with the other pack. Red was absent from Season 1, with just the 3 raptors making up the Handlers pack. Now we know what Red was up to. Soyona reveals that
Red doesn't attack, unless I tell her to.
Revealing the remote that we first saw her handling in Dominion. She says,
"Amazing the control you can have over these creatures when you really take the time to earn it."
I'm not sure about you, but this kind of feels like a dig at Owen's attempts to control the raptors.
Hey! What did I just say?
Kenji swims to retrieve the flare gun, a very Jurassic Park 3 coded scene. During this raptor attack sequence, Brooklyn runs into the elevator while the raptor charges, reminding us of the iconic scene from Fallen Kingdom. In the 6th episode, Up the River, while the boat sails away, we see bubbles rise from under the water. This shot quite reminiscent of the boat scene in Jurassic Park 3. And here we see a non-prehistoric animal, a hippo. We have dinosaurs interacting with real animals in the wild. This one isn't an egg, just something that we noticed many people have wanted to see. In episode 7, All Night Long, while the group discuss how to go back for Yasmina, Sammy states,
"Land, water, air? It's all dangerous, Zayna!"
reminding us of the synopsis for the upcoming Jurassic World Rebirth movie, which states, "This action-packed new chapter sees an intrepid team racing to secure DNA samples from the 3 most colossal creatures across land, sea, and air." This compy seen as a silhouette in the foreground is similar to when we see the compy on Main Street in Fallen Kingdom. While hiding in the trees, Yasmina is attacked by a group of Dimorphodons. These large-headed terrors were introduced at the Jurassic World Park and brought havoc to the guests. They also already attacked Yasmina and co in Camp Cretaceous. Yasmina swimming in the water away from a large dinosaur certainly reminds us of her doing the same thing in the Mosasaurus arena in Season 1 of Camp Cretaceous. And when these two behemoths battle it out, the fight plays out quite like the Rex vs. Spino battle in Jurassic Park 3. In the 8th episode, Lab Partners Part 1, we see a herd of kentrosaurs by the river. This herbivore species was first introduced in Camp Cretaceous, being bred on Manticore Island. We also get another returning dinosaur. These Monolophosaurs were first introduced in the 3rd season of Camp Cretaceous. This time, however, they're on chains. These monos, once free from their chains, attempt to get through the doors to attack Ben and Kenji, just like they did in Kenji's father's penthouse in Camp Cretaceous. Once deeper inside the lab, we see dinosaurs stored in some type of cryogenic or suspended state, which is just like the laboratory sequence in Jurassic Park 3. In these containers, we see a number of recognizable species, a baby Brachiosaurus, a Baryonyx, and what looks to be a Lystrosaurus. the little dude from the dino fighting arenas in Malta in Dominion. Zayna says,
I know how cloning works. We learned about it at school.
Oh.
And while not an egg, it's a cool nod to show how the world has adapted and changed post the Jurassic World park. It's here that we are introduced to another pterodino for this season. It's an eyeless baryonyx. It's not just blind, it's missing its eyes entirely. This is based on a real condition called leucism, a condition in animals which causes the lack of pigmentation in its skin. It's revealed that the scientist altered its genetic code to remove its eyes, and its lack of eyes is enhancing the other dinosaurs' senses, leading to the increased hearing. In the second part of this episode, we see Soyona and Brooklyn by Soyona's jet. This very well could be the same plane that we see in Jurassic World Dominion, further tying the live-action series to that of the animated world. The Brachiosaurus is back, and it stands on its hind legs just like it did in Jurassic Park.
We're gonna make a fortune with this place.
In this episode, we meet a new scientist who's been working in this lab under the guide of Soyona Santos. This geneticist, much like Dr. Wu and others, goes rogue with power, doesn't follow direct orders, and tries to modify genomes beyond logic or compassion. This scientist gone rogue does appear to be quite a Jurassic theme. Brooklyn saves Soyona Santos here, earning her trust. All of this scenario that we see here is making us think that the line she speaks to Dodgson in Dominion,
I didn't like what happened last time.
Okay, just call me when it's done,
could be referencing this. In the very last episode, Reunion, the dinosaurs seen here communicate similarly to that of the Raptor Squad and the Indominus Rex in Jurassic World.
Something's wrong. They're communicating.
The Atrociraptor, showing its smarts, learns how to make the thumb click sound, therefore being able to control the eyeless baryonyx, and turns it on the scientist.
If there's one thing the history of evolution has taught us, it's that life will not be contained. Life breaks free, it expands to new territories, and it crashes through barriers painfully, maybe even dangerously, but, well, there it is.
This control room here reminds us of the control room that we see in Jurassic World. This baryonyx reveal also reminds us of the baryonyx reveal from Fallen Kingdom.
Deep breaths, Franklin.
And when we meet Zayna's father, his vehicle reminds us of the Mercedes used by staff at Jurassic World.
Nangadef! Someone call the Baba taxi!
The all-important reunion of Brooklyn and her fellow campers happens here, but not in the way you would expect. There aren't any hugs, any embraces, just an emotional decision being made by Brooklyn to go with Soyona. Brooklyn says,
Wait, you're partnering with Biosyn?
Which is a name drop to the company introduced in Dominion and proof that Soyona works for this company, or at least partners with Louis Dodgson later on. This certainly ties things very close to the story that we learn in Jurassic World Dominion. And that appears to be all of the Easter eggs, nods, and references that we caught in Season 2 of Jurassic World Chaos Theory. How excited are you for Season 3? Share those thoughts and any else you might have down below in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our Season 3 exclusives.